Be working now. I switched to the local mic, so that's probably going to have a little bit of additional sound from just the fan in the laptop. But let me know if you guys can hear me all right. If that sounds good. If not, I can try to work on the other mic a little bit more. Yeah, and sorry for the technical difficulties. Uh, does that sound okay? Yeah, there's going to be some white noise there. Uh, Not much I can do about that. I don't know what happened. It's actually a pretty good mic. It's the Yeti Blue mic. So it was actually recommended to me by Geek Domo, and it was working very well last time, but not so well this time. So apologize for the slight noise, and hopefully it's not the end of the world. You always get drunk looking at that wine rack. Yeah, it's a pretty good wine rack. We like to keep a little collection. I keep the scotch elsewhere, but it's pretty good. And it's a really nice little feature to everyone who comes in. It's just like, holy crap, that's a lot of wine, and it's really just our temporary spot too. Is we are gonna build a little wine cellar in here eventually. So let me try to catch up with the chat while I was having that small disaster. Uh, Nice to see you guys too. I see a lot of names that I know. That's awesome. So, welcome to, geez, all of you. Raz, Sento, Mad Moose, Krona, Diggs. Uh, Man, I'll just be naming names all day. But yeah, I mean, I think I recognize 75 8. Who's new here? Uh, but yeah, let me see how you guys are doing. Yeah, it wouldn't be a proper stream without tech difficulties. Isn't that the truth, Trendane? And I'm still really new at this. This is third or fourth, my third or fourth stream that I'm doing myself. So I'm like that science dog. I have no idea what I'm doing. I'm trying to make it better, trying to improve it because I'm actually having a lot of fun. And I've been talking to a few streamers too. One of the things that's really interesting is like there's a lot of folks that are doing this professionally, and that's really awesome. For me, with my job, it's just going to be something that I'm doing for fun. And so, this is what I'm doing on my day off. So I appreciate you guys hanging with me and bearing with my slightly low tech production capabilities here at my house. Rama says, "Yeah, I can see that wine lasting a week or two." Well, we do have to restock from time to time. And the fun thing about building a wine collection too is you end up like there's bottles you buy that you're going to keep for a while, and then there's bottles that you buy that are just for almost immediate drinking. And so you get to watch kind of, some of the bottles that have started to, be in our collection for like 6 or 7 years at this point. It's pretty cool. Oh, hey, Puri, how are you doing? Uh, Hopefully it's not. Yeah, it's a little late for you there, but not too late. So to recap, since we had some tech difficulties, I'll probably just cut all that horrible stuff off at the beginning. Hey, Wall Chaos, how you doing? Uh, my name is Omid Daryani. I'm the senior brand manager for the EverQuest franchise, which is EverQuest, EverQuest 2, Landmark, and EverQuest Next. So if you guys have questions about that, questions about the game industry in general, questions about Hearthstone, because that's what I'll be playing, trading card games, strategy games, or just want to talk about anything, I am more than happy to do that. Cadillac Dawn asks, how long does it usually take to hear back for the Insider program? I've been waiting a week and haven't heard anything. Is that normal? Well, one of the things at SOE this week is that a lot of people have been sick and traveling. So you probably should hear back early next week, and let me know if you don't, and I'll go bug people. It's a pretty small program, and it's a pilot program. We haven't done it before, and so we're really just kind of getting it set up. Our thinking was that we would have most of alpha to get our insider program set up because we would have the NDA. But since the game launch was so good, or the alpha launch was so good, we ended up lifting the NDA very quickly, and that's kind of left us, you know, fixing this thing as we go. So definitely bear with us. All right, let's see some more questions. Have you guys finally learned your lesson to really not patch on Friday? Of course not, Paradox Moose. We will never learn that lesson. I mean, it's really just a thing of right now, because we're in alpha, we want to get the game into shape quickly, and even the week, like we all play games on the weekend, so it sucks. It just sucks when you can't play, right? And when we know things are broken and it's going to mess people's whole weekends up, like we really want to get it done. Let's see. Cody Mynat says, "Can I challenge you to a Hearthstone game?" Yes, you can. Are we friends already, or do you need to add me? Let's see. Candor says, "What is my favorite kind of pie?" Well, I grew up in the South, so my favorite kind of pie is pecan pie. I'm actually not a huge fan of pie in general. It just doesn't really do it for me. But I do like a good pecan pie. Naballs asks, "Do I have any hobbies besides drinking scotch?" Yes, I also like to drink rum. I'm kidding. I'm a gamer. I play a lot of games. I've been playing trading card games a lot, strategy games, city building games. Like right now, I would say that my heavy rotation is I'm playing a little bit of Landmark as much as I can. Uh, I'm playing Hearthstone. Uh, Hearthstone really because you can play for 10 minutes at a time, so it works out really well. You can play like during a break. I'm playing a lot of XCOM. I'm playing Civ 5 a little bit, but I've kind of backed off of that. I think I kind of solved the expansion, so I'm done. I have freaking Assassin's Creed Black Flag that I'm trying to get to, but I still haven't even fired up. And then other hobbies like, I don't know, good food, cooking, going out to nice places, hanging out with friends. Like, it's really just about all that I have time for at the moment. Let me see other questions. Favorite kind of pie, hobbies. My son wants to be a programmer eventually for the game industry. What are the recommended steps? He is about to graduate high school. Well, I think that you want to send him somewhere with a very, very strong engineering program, Denver Tim. Uh, the stronger the engineering program, the stronger his math skills get, and the stronger his overall programming gets, the better. And I would highly recommend really really flexible skill sets because the programming languages that get used change over time. So you don't necessarily gain value by being a specialist. And I mean he's pretty young, so getting that understanding of how programming languages work, I think makes the most sense. And just being a programmer is really, I think, at least for the foreseeable future, one of the absolute best things you can do to be in the game industry. I mean, we are always looking for programmers pretty aggressively at SOE, and and we're just one of the many many companies that is always short on talent in that department. So everywhere is looking for them. It's super competitive. It pays really well. I highly recommend it. Kind of wish I had done that. Chief Archon asks, "Will there be an opt-out for property PvP, the type that makes it so people cannot affect the property at all?" In Landmark, yeah. In Landmark, if you don't want people messing with your claim, they can't. Like the default situation is people can't mess with your claim. They can come visit, like they can just walk on it, but they can't do anything to it unless you let them. You'll actually have to kind of check a checkbox to say, yes, like come be able to PvP on my land. Let's see. Can we get an O nod from everyone? Yeah, of course. I always support people O nodding in the chat. Let's see, will the grappling hook camera be fixed soon, or will we have to wait till the Wednesday patch? I think we're going to have to at least wait till that patch. I'm not 100% sure on that, but it's one of the things on the list, and I feel like I recall Dave saying it was going to take a little bit longer than he thought. And I think he thought that it was going to happen very quickly at first. So I would expect to have it fixed on Wednesday, but I can't guarantee that. I haven't talked to any folks since yesterday. Let's see. Is it true that Landmark is actually a Bitcoin mining client disguised as a game? That would be brilliant, wouldn't it? I kind of wish we had done that, but no, it's just a construction game. No nefarious Bitcoin or Dogecoin mining schemes behind it. Erebor says he upgraded to the Trailblazer pack and hasn't received the items. You should contact our customer service department and just let them know. Because it's really easy for them to fix that for you. We just need to know. Let's see. Chances of me getting wasted live on the internet? Chances are okay. One of the things that I do on the stream is that people can buy me a drink if they like. There's information sort of below the stream about that and how that works, and I'm happy to tell one of my crazy stories when that happens. But other than that, I try to take it a little bit light. But you know, last week it didn't go so well. Let's see. When your hobbies are rum and scotch, we call you an alcoholic. That's like the drinking version of a gamer. To be fair, I also like tequila, so I don't know if that makes me an alcoholic. In the late 70s and early 80s, it was common to drink scotch and water. In the last decade or two, drinking it neat is more in vogue. Is there any scotch you prefer to drink on the rocks or with water? I like to put a little bit, like one piece of ice into any like really strong scotch, like the Lafroig 18 would have been a little bit better with a little bit of ice. Um, because it actually kind of opens up the flavor a little bit, which is good. It can be kind of burny if you just drink it neat, like some of the really strong ones. Seth Rick asks, oh, Raz asks, did I move to a new tundra or old forest biome? No, what I actually did is took advantage of the fact that everyone else moved and got a much nicer claim on one of the existing islands. So now I have a nice view up on a mountain. But which I thought was a pretty good idea. Like all the people who have the really good claims, right? They all moved to the new islands. So now there's a whole bunch of like just random gaps where you can pick up a good claim. Sethrick asks, does Jack Trenton stepping down affect you guys negatively? I don't think so. You know, we'll see how it goes, but I don't think that it will have any effect. Let's see. ITT Tech has game design classes depending on location of the school. Yeah, actually, a lot of places do, and it's becoming more and more in vogue. It's something that I had somebody send me a Twitch message during our live stream on Wednesday asking about, hey, I'm getting ready to go to college and I'm picking colleges. I'm looking for a good game design school. Which school do you recommend? Which was a really interesting question and kind of took me aback because one of the things, and I think this is true for a lot of folks, I can't speak for everyone, is that most of the senior people in the game industry didn't have any sort of like formal game design training or don't have a lot of interaction with the schools. Like, so since all these game design programs are so new, it's really hard for us to recommend specific ones. We're really, we really hire people who are just tremendously talented and seem like good problem solvers and good team members and super creative people who can deal with like insane problems and emergent problems, stuff that we haven't seen yet. So that's always been the sort of traditional way of doing it. Like you meet people and everyone has a crazy different background. Like some people are like come from backgrounds of being writers or actors or performers. Dave used to be on the radio, for example, Dave Georgeson. Mark Tuttle used to be on the radio as well. We got a lot of radio at SOE. But like I've met people who have like were like theater critics in Scotland is a guy that I knew, and that guy now designs. He's like a creative director, and we never really had this clear path to get to where we're going until recently. So that said, the only school I have any interaction with really is NYU. I actually do guest lecture there from time to time, and I have one coming up at the end of the month. So pretty excited about that. Let's see. Will templates be usable as a brush and be able to use the negative of them? I'm not sure I understand, Raven. Can you explain that out a little bit more? Let's see. I've been building large scale, currently working on a 740 voxel tall tower. Will we be getting a camera tool to split the camera off from your avatar? Yes, at some point, and I'm not exactly sure when, we're going to have that camera. If you've seen the time-lapse videos that we've done in the past, they involve like fixing a camera in one location and then building to that. So we're definitely going to have those tools eventually. I just, I can't speak to when. Toronto Tig says, when I was introduced to Scotch, my friend put ice in my drink. Well, that's usually a really good idea, especially for the first few times that you're trying Scotch, because it can be pretty painful for someone who's new to it. And very often, I think people who have Scotch the first time that way uh, end up saying that they don't like Scotch very much, and can definitely people who have it neat the first time often say that they don't like Scotch very much because it can be freaking painful, just unbelievably painful the first time that you're drinking it. And I just received a donation from Kiri, so thank you very much. I appreciate that, and you can let me know which story you'd like me to tell, and I will tell it. And I'm still trying to get caught up with the chat, so let me get caught up with the chat, then I'll pour some more Scotch, a different Scotch this time, and I can tell a story. Let's see. Any spoilers of what to expect on Wednesday? Well, I think that Dave updated the roadmap yesterday towards the end of the day with kind of what to expect next week. But the big thing to expect next week is group claims, like claim permissions, so that I can let you come and build on my location. Actually, I should really do that. I think when those go in, I'm just going to turn my claim on to let anyone build on it, because doing that is going to be way better than anything that I could possibly build on my claim. So yeah, ability to collaborate on claims and start working together is going to come in, and that's really, I think, one of the core pieces of Landmark that we really want. And if we could only pick really one thing to do, it's that idea of being able to come together to build. So we're really excited to get those in. Let's see. Candors asked, what exactly does a brand manager do? What is my typical day like? That is a great question. A brand manager is sort of a combination of a business manager, a marketing strategy manager, a creative director, and a project manager, right? So like anything involving, our website, any, like of the art pieces, the trailers, the videos, the web presence, the social media, the community, the PR, all of these things, they all happen through different people in the company. Like Colette is our community manager, but I have a big part in setting the community strategy. We have a great PR manager named Ben Conrad, but I have a big part in setting our communication strategy. We have a tremendously talented team of game designers, artists, writers, that sort of thing. And a part of my job is to go in and talk to them about what we're doing, how it's going to make us the most money, how people are going to react to the different ideas that they have, and what the best way to communicate everything is, and show people what we're doing to get people excited. So my day, the awesomest part of it is that every day is massively, massively different and super busy, and with like 10 or 20 different types of challenges all happening at once. So that's, I guess, the super, super quick version. All right, let me see if I can catch up. These are great questions, by the way, and honestly, I want to play games, but the main reason that I like coming and hanging out is just to chat with people and talk about the game industry, talk about Landmark, talk about what I do, and answer questions and see what you guys think, because I think I'm really happy that I think that SOE, we have probably the best community of anywhere that I've ever worked, and I wouldn't trade it for anyone else. And the chats that have gone on in my few streams that I've done have been so interesting that even when I am really focused on playing the game, I get distracted by the chat. See, Toronto Tigs asks, do you think we will also look into builders and Landmark as potential employees? Absolutely. And I think that this is one of the most interesting things for me is the fact that we tend to hire out of our community. And I used to work at Wizards of the Coast too, and almost every person that we hired for Magic the Gathering was either a Magic player, a Magic judge, a volunteer, something like that. Because most of these positions are super competitive. There are 100 talented people for every one of them. And what happens is you end up wanting to hire someone who knows your brand, who knows your game, knows what you're doing, and cares about it and loves it. And so you tend to find those people in your community. They're sort of self-identifying as those people. And people who are building amazing things are artists. They're game artists. Like, we basically are giving people the same tools we're using. When you watch Troy on our live stream, he's using these tools to build things, and those things eventually are going to go in EverQuest Next, right? We're going to use these tools to build, Keynotes, and so why wouldn't we hire incredibly talented people out of the community that are building things like that? The thing that's funny, and Dave likes to say it a lot, Dave Georgeson, the director of development, that we're actually probably going to end up trying to hire people out of our community who are really good at this, and they're going to turn us down because they'll be making more money off Player Studio than we'll be able to pay them. Okay, so let's see. So Puri wanted to buy me a drink. I'm sorry if Puri said the question that the story he wanted me to tell, I haven't seen it yet. So please let me know. Maybe it's in here. Oh, okay, so it says, oh, this is sweet. Here he says, you are really cool. Landmark will be great. Thanks a lot for all the chats and streams with you. I really appreciate it. As my wish, I want to hear the story about the ramen noodles. Puri, I have another good story that you, of all people, will really like, that if we ever meet in person, I'll tell you about. It's a joke that I told in my German class when I was in university about something called the Unterbrechungskur. But let me go ahead and tell this story. But let me, man, I am never going to catch up with this chat. Puri, you'll be here the whole time, right? So I've got a minute to catch up with questions. All right, so for the drink that Puri bought me, I'll be drinking Glenlivet 18, which is another one of my favorites. If you want to try Scotch and you're not too familiar, I would highly recommend Glenlivet 12. First of all, it's fairly cheap. Second of all, it's available everywhere. And third, it's smooth and nice. So here's to you, Puri. Cheers. Sorry, Prost. Puri runs one of our an EQ Next fan site in Germany, and it's pretty awesome. I've gone and checked it out a few times. And he and I like to practice German until we get, or he doesn't practice, I do, until we get yelled at for speaking German in the streams. Okay, let me try to quickly catch up with questions. Trying to be part of the game industry, have had bad luck. I want a lucky moment and a chance to prove my skills. Yeah, and that's really what it takes. And so the story, the ramen noodle story, is kind of about that. The sort of lucky things that happen that get you to where you need to be. Because honestly, one of the things I've noticed, and I was saying earlier, when you talk to people who are in the game industry, they almost always have gotten there in some strange way. Like, they're not, I think now is the first time you're going to see people who say, I always wanted to be a game designer. I grew up, I went to college, and I became a game designer. Like, that didn't happen before because, like, when I was a kid, video games were new. And when some of the older folks were a kid, there weren't video games. So no one grew up aspiring to do it. And now we're just starting to see that, which is really, really cool. Let me see. Will we be able to allow permission on specific claims, like one claim of the three? I'm not 100% sure about that. I want to say yes, because when they're separated, you would be able to do permissions differently. But yeah, I don't know, Nerdy Mechanic. That's a good question. I'll find out about it. Let me see. And guys, if you're new here, I would really appreciate it if you follow the channel. That would be awesome. And we're giving away Prime Grappler codes in the chat. You have to be following to win one. Cento Gray asks about story/command blocks. That is something we are talking about in the future, adding the ability for people to create AI. And so that would be something probably related to that, but I can't confirm that at this point. Let's see. Player Studio is currently only for the US, but we are working very hard to make it international because we want people all over to be able to do it. The tricky thing is that every country has their own tax laws, and how they interact with US tax laws is different in every case, which is super duper complicated. And so we just have to we basically have to work through every country one by one to resolve it. But we have a team in place that's doing that. And I believe the UK is one of the very first ones that will be getting that, because it's one of the places we have the most support. Let's see. Okay, great. So I think I'm all caught up with the chat. You guys can ask more questions, but I'm gonna tell the story that Puri requested, which is the story of how I got into the game industry. And the story is that I wouldn't be in the game industry if I hadn't stepped in a bowl of ramen noodles. Now, what happened was, it was my first year in college, and I had a roommate. And my roommate, he was a nice guy, but he was kind of a messy dude. And, you know, I was a little bit messy too, but I became a lot cleaner because of him. So his whole side of the room was always a disaster. And it was one night that I was coming in, like 2 o'clock in the morning or something. I wish I could say I was doing something cool, but I probably wasn't. I was probably, studying or trying to pick up a girl who didn't like me or something like that. But anyway, I come in and the light is off. He's asleep. And it had been raining outside, so I take my shoes off. So I don't want to turn the light on. And I walk in. I get about halfway over to my bed, and I step in something just cold and wet on the floor. And I just lose my mind. I just got really upset, and I started yelling, and I turn on the light. I'm like, what the hell? And I look down, and there's a bowl of ramen noodles on the ground. And, the poor guy, he's woke up now that someone's in the room yelling at him. And he says, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't think you would step in the noodles. And, so what can I do? He's a nice guy. Ramen noodles in the, so I turn the light off. And, go in bed, lay in bed, and my foot is still wet. I'm so angry, and I'm like, oh man, I gotta get out of here. I really can't have a roommate. So, I started looking around for a job, and I didn't want to go work in McDonald's or something like that. And I'd been playing Magic the Gathering, which you guys probably know Magic the Gathering, and there were magazines that did Magic the Gathering articles. So I started writing for them, and then the guy who owned the local comic shop in the town where I went to high school was trying to sell Magic cards online. It was the 90s, so selling things online was still new. Amazon was just starting, and he was really bummed out because there was only one Magic website at the time, and they had just signed a deal. It was called the Magic Dojo. They just signed a deal with another company to exclusively carry their cards. And so I asked my friend, well, what's up? And he said that, and I was like, well, you should just make your own website, and you can, sell the cards on your site. And he's like, well, but where would I get all the articles? Because that's why people go. I said, well, I can make the articles. And so he and I talked a little bit, and we started up this site called StarCityGames.com. And it's now a a huge Magic the Gathering site, and they're running a Magic tournament right now in Richmond, Virginia. That's the biggest Magic tournament, I think, of all time. And it's really cool stuff, but I ended up getting hired by Wizards of the Coast, so moved out, started working in the game industry because of that. And I never would have if I hadn't stepped in a bowl of ramen noodles. So, Thank you, college roommate. So that's the story. Hopefully, hopefully it was good enough. All right, let me see. Let me catch up. Have you seen Liquid in any form? Can you talk about it? I've seen a whole bunch of demos and work that's being done on it, but we're not ready to put it in the game yet. But it is a high priority. It's just a very tricky thing to implement, so we're working on it. And we just updated the roadmap. I don't think that Liquid's moved at all, but we get asked a lot, and obviously it's something we want in there. Water, lava, all that stuff is really cool, and people like to play with it. So we're getting to it. So just sit tight, Cody. We're still in alpha. Nayballs asks, "Are you a South Park fan? If so, play South Park: Stick with Truth. I'm playing all day, and it's amazing." Yeah, actually, I am a pretty big South Park fan, and when it came out, I was sick because, like I said, we all got sick in the office. So I was out sick for a couple days. I spent the whole time watching Co Carnage, the streamer, play through, and it was so funny. And I really love that guy too. If you guys don't watch Cohh Carnage, you definitely should. He's really a great streamer, and I really have tried to model some of what I'm doing on his stuff too, because he's very interactive. He's very much more interested in talking to the fans than he is even playing the games. So it was really fun to watch, and it was just like sitting there and watching an episode of South Park just for hours and hours and hours. So yeah, I highly recommend it just based on that. It looks like so much fun. Yeah. Oh, hey, legendary neurotoxin. Yeah, the grappling camera is in terrible shape. We're gonna fix it. Uh, I think we'll fix it before we'll be ready to put fly mode in, but we'll see. If we can't fix that grappler camera, then it might become an option. Let's see. Oh, hey, Sube. No idea if you can talk about this, but how's Storybricks coming along? One of the huge draws for me is the AI. Yeah, Storybricks is going great. We haven't been talking about them too much, just because we're really focused on Landmark right now, and where we are in Landmark is is not the part that Storybricks is involved in, right? For people who don't know, Storybricks is an AI company that makes just tremendously cool AI systems, and they're doing the AI. Well, their tech and their strategy has been incorporated into our team. Like, they work super closely with us, and we're building an emergent AI system into EverQuest Next and into Landmark that is just, it's honestly my favorite part of the project. And so yeah, those guys they're still working on it all the time. They're in our offices all the time. It's coming along nicely, and it's really cool. So we're really excited about it. I mean, I think I'm probably the most excited. Maybe not, but I'm definitely, it's the thing in the game that I'm most excited about. Raven asks, when does flying on claims come to be? And I'm not sure. It's definitely in the roadmap, something that we want to give people, but it's we want to make it a craftable skill, and we want it to be sort of a late game thing. So something that you really have to earn, to do those really amazing vertical claims, because you have the grappling hook to get around a little bit until then. Could you add a channel on the forums for 3D artists to show what we are creating in Maya in hopes to enter Landmark? Yes, Chief Archon. We definitely will. We do this for our other games. We have Player Studio, and that forum becomes very much a place for artists to interact with, like, our art directors and things like that. We just don't have Player Studio in yet, and we're not taking like 3D Maya type stuff into the game yet, which is why we haven't done it. But definitely keep an eye out for it. It'll probably be, I'm not exactly sure, it'll probably be a couple months at least. There have been a lot of requests to make the Founder's Pickaxe upgradable. Hey, Dreamtuber. Any plans to make that happen? It gets useless within an hour. No, it's something we noticed. We actually had planned for the Founder's Pickaxe to have a longer shelf life. So it's something the game design team is talking about, if there's a way to, keep the skin or something like that, so that it become, because we know you want it to be a vanity item for the long term since you paid for it up front, and we really appreciate that. So yeah, we're looking into it, and it's a great question. Omid's roommate was Pigpen from Charlie Brown. Neuro. Yeah, actually, he was pretty much that. Like, it was the most disgusting thing I've ever seen. You know, I remember we had one of those little fridges in the room, and it was just filled with like there was a gallon of milk that sat in there until it was so disgusting. I don't even want to talk about it. But he was also like a really cool dude. Other than that, that was really the only thing that could not get past. But yeah, he was a nice dude. Hey, Geek Domo. I fell asleep on the couch and missed the intro. Well, we're glad to have you now. The intro was actually mostly tech difficulties and me screwing up and failing with the microphone, cameras, and games, and that sort of thing. So you didn't miss too much. I actually am going to play some Hearthstone, but the questions have been so good, and the chat has been so good that I haven't actually gotten to it. Let's see. Could you? Oh, sorry. I just answered that question. No, I mean, Neuro, if you guys want the fly mode, and it's something that we get requests for a fair amount, it definitely, I would encourage you to be posting about that on the forums, to tweet Dave, to tweet Terry, to tweet me, like, and say that you want it, because this is something that's happened. We do a program called the Roundtable too, where we ask questions, take feedback, and sometimes things that the community says really change our minds. Sometimes sometimes not as much. But everything that we bring up there is about discussing where we are and what we're thinking. So nothing we've ever decided, and it's really interesting to see how much things can change based on community feedback. Not every time, of course, but sometimes we've had huge swings in our strategy. And so, it's possible that on-claim flying is something that just needs to happen earlier, but the best way to get that done is to let people know. Okay, let's see. Yeah, Zube, I actually was the first editor of Star City Games. When I started, I used to play at Star City. I actually used to go to Star City Games when it was a comics shop, and there was just like a little thing of Magic cards on the counter, and it was really cool because like the place just kind of grew out of the enthusiasm of like the kids in the neighborhood, like me, my friends, a few other folks. In the little town that we lived in, I ran the second sanctioned Magic tournament of all time. In our little town, and was really just this annoying kid in Star City all the time, saying like, "Hey, do you have more Magic cards? Where's this card? Where's this card? I need a Royal Assassin. I've heard of this card called Wrath of God. What does it do?" To the point where Pete Hofling, the owner, and his father, were like, "God, this kid is so annoying." But I think that it worked out pretty well for everyone. Thanks for the story. It made me happy. Try to get into the game industry. Drinking scotch with you. Yeah, absolutely, Perry. And if you're ever around any of the events where we are, let me know, because I would love to get together and chat. Answer some questions, that sort of thing. Kadzu asks, oh man, this stuff's good. Might have been asked before, but will there be glass voxels or transparent gems? Absolutely. They're just not in yet. I'm not exactly sure when they're coming, but it's something that's being worked on right now. Liquid, same thing, Nerdy Mechanic. It's coming as soon as possible. All right, let's see. Will there also be an underwater feature like building Atlantis, maybe? Dutch Tiger, I actually, I haven't heard anyone make that suggestion internally. I think that it makes a lot of sense that you'll be able to build things underwater, but I haven't actually heard anyone say, like domed cities or things like that. So let me ask about that, because that's pretty cool. I imagine that it'll happen. It's just a question of time. Omid playing Stick of Truth would be awesome. Yeah, it would be Well, the problem is that I can't say anything more offensive than they are because I don't know if you guys have seen it, but the game really crosses every possible line just all the time. It's pretty freaking impressive. I highly recommend it. Just from watching it, it's been really fun. Do I like procedurally generated worlds? A new game, Edge of Space, is now on Steam. Actually, I haven't heard of that, Reese. I should check it out. I do like procedurally generated worlds. I like any game that has like infinite encounters, things like that. Roguelike sort of stuff is really fun. I played the hell out of FTL, which is another game that I highly recommend. It ended up getting like so many mods for it that the game that I play now is so different from the actual game. But yeah, I love that kind of stuff. Let's see. What is my stream setup, PC specs, programs to stream? Well, so a friend of mine works for a company that was planning to do a lot of live streaming, but turned out to not do any. So I'm using his Wirecast account, uh, and so I'm using that. I'm on a Mac, so I have a MacBook Pro, a pretty high end one. So I have Boot Camp too, but actually, was streaming casually. Just I wanted to see how it worked and that sort of thing. So I set it up through the Mac side of things. And I'm still working on getting I was really trying to get OBS set up and running for today, and it just wasn't going to happen. Uh, but I plan to be streaming on PC from there, and I'll probably be using it. I mean, because it runs everything decently. Like it runs Landmark decently. It runs all the games I play well. I really want to stream Banished. So I really like boring games, so the power level of my setup isn't as relevant as for some other folks. But as I become more serious about this, I'll probably upgrade and get a for real streaming setup. Okay, let's see. Sorry, I'm falling behind the chat, guys. I am trying to keep up, but these are great questions. Cody asks, does anyone in the office use Oculus Rift in Landmark? I don't think we've used it in Landmark, but we definitely have dev kits around the office and are testing them. I want to be Omid. Me too. Me too. Let's see. When beta keys are given to alpha members to pass out, yeah, they will be the limited access keys. The keys are for 1 week. And we're going to give out a lot of them. Really, for anyone who's paying attention and trying to get into the beta, if you just want to be on the time limited keys, you absolutely will be able to get enough. I really don't think you're going to have any trouble with that because I'm writing the plan. So trust me. But we're also, for people who want that unlimited access, then we'll have the $20 the Settler Founders Pack. We'll give them that unlimited access. But that I really think it's mostly about getting the items and the titles and things like that. Buying a Founders Pack for closed beta. Let's see. Yeah, I'm drinking a Glenlivet 18 right now. But yeah, I have a decent Scotch collection, and you guys can buy me a drink if you want. And all money that is put into my drink purchase fund is used to buy Scotch for future streams, as well as for parties that I have around the house, which are always with game industry and entertainment industry folks. So I will mention that any purchases that are made related to this stream are because of fans who really wanted us to have a good time. So yeah, it's Glenlivet 18 right now. It's pretty good stuff. Madman Moose says, I stream Landmark every day and usually don't get that many viewers. Can I get a few shout outs? Absolutely, and this goes for anyone who's streaming Landmark. If you tweet me, Dave Georgeson, Terry Michaels, John Smedley, Colette, the main channel, pretty much anybody at SOE who's on this project, if we're around and we can pop into your stream and just make sure you're not swearing and being a jackass, we'll absolutely just give you a retweet. We will often come into the stream if we have time, say hi, answer questions. I notice too that when I post, hey, I'm in this stream, come hang out with me, that immediately gets, another 10 to 30 people will just show up, which is really cool. So absolutely, just tweet me, just tweet when you're on, and make sure you have the link to your stream in there, because I'd say those are the two things that happen the most. People will either tweet and say, hey, I'm going to be on in an hour. It's like, well, that's cool, but I definitely definitely may not be around in an hour. Or people say, "Hey, I'm on now," and then don't leave the link, so I don't have, I can't go look it up. Because we're pretty busy folks, and we try to help out, but sometimes we just, if you make it easy for us, we'll do it. You know what I mean? Let's see. Trailblazers are going to get a 48-hour or more head start into beta. What does the or more depend on, and how much more? Well, so we only want to promise 48 hours. This gets into sort of legal requirements about what you can promise for things. And the amount of time is really related to when we do it and when we'll be ready for other. Like, for example, if the head start, starts on a Friday, which is probably what we'll try to do, then you would have Friday, Saturday, Sunday. It's going to be 50 to 60 hours. And then maybe Monday is when we open it up, but it's probably Tuesday that we'll open it up to everybody. So all that extra time will happen. The problem is that we can't promise it. It's really hard to make exact promises on things like time. You guys can see how the downtimes go for us, right? We say, oh, we think it's going to be an hour, and then sometimes it's 10 hours, and there's nothing we can do about it. Everyone is working as hard as they can. We could go the other route and say it's going to be, probably 24 hours or less, and then no one has any information, but we're covered, So that's kind of what we're doing here. Like, we can definitely give 48 hours, and we're going to probably end up giving more. We just can't say how much more. Do I want to come have some drinks in Ocean Beach, San Diego? Well, I live in Point Loma, Chills, so it is right by there. So let's put that as a maybe. Send me a message, and if we can make it happen, that would be cool. Let's see. Will we be given our Alpha Boost potion again after the caverns are implemented, since they wore off anytime you logged out? We are going to do some sort of thing, probably in closed beta, for the Trailblazers who got the Alpha Boost potion, because they have never ever worked right. And we're really sorry about that. Oh, good. My horrible cat is screaming. So if you're near San Diego and would like a cat, I have one for you. But yeah, we'll probably do something in closed beta for that, because we just haven't been able to resolve that issue just yet. And getting a resource gathering boost was really useful at the beginning of alpha when you're trying to get all your resources. It's not as useful the closer we get to closed beta, when all your resources are going to get wiped. So we'll revisit it. We'll try to come up with something in closed beta that hopefully you guys will like. Let's see. I believe you've played a lot of MMOs. Do you feel the combat system will feel as smooth and slick as WoW or WildStar? Yes, it is our goal to have the best combat system you've ever seen. Until we have it implemented, I can't really speak to whether or not it will hold up to the best games in the class, but we have, I think, the best team in the class, so so we should be in good shape. Wallow Chaos says, does anyone know what to do when you lose your vault in Landmark? I can't open a ticket because I already have one open for EQ1. Wallow Chaos, you can post on the forums and let us know about that as well. If you can't get it resolved by like Monday or Tuesday, then send me a message and let me know what's going on, and I'll get it taken care of for you. Let's see. Sorry, just trying to catch up, folks. I'm about 3/4 of the way down the chat, and really just trying to answer questions and talk to people. Devil May Strike, I'm doing great. How are you doing? Thanks for asking. Switcheroo asks, what kind of scotch do you drink? I drink all kinds. Currently, I am drinking Glenlivet 18, which hopefully you can see there. Is very good, thanks to the generous Piri. So, cheers. Let's see. Pretty interested on when we'll be able to replace paste without ruining other built things with empty air voxels. Any idea how far along that is? Uh, that's a tough question. I'm not exactly sure how far along that is. That's one of those little, like, the kind of design tweaks that I don't know. I don't have like great visibility on when those are getting implemented. We stick mostly on the big things, like what's coming up that's going to get everybody excited. But yeah, I'm sure it's coming. If you want more details, Dragon, send me a tweet and I'll get that answer by the right person. How many babies do I have to punch to get a waypoint arrow? We don't have to punch any babies, but it's not a bad idea. Will the rotation option eventually have a smaller than 90-degree option for rotations? We've discussed it. We're not really sure that we want to put that in, primarily because for the majority of people, like people who aren't super advanced in their play, that's going to mess them up a lot. Like they're going to end up doing a lot of really inefficient things. Like you think about when you build like your town in SimCity, how you need everything to line up really perfectly. If you start letting people do things at odd angles, they're just going to mess it up for the most part. So it's only the really advanced players who are going to get a lift out of that. So we're thinking about what to do there. It's not about quantity, it's about punching the right babies. Let's see. Orbiting claims or moving to the moon. Do I think that will be added? Not in the foreseeable future, but it's an awesome idea. Will there be smaller voxels than the current ones? Well, what we're learning is that every time we update, it seems like the players find a way to make smaller voxels than we thought were possible. So I assume that's just going to keep happening, and we're going to get into this like subatomic voxel arms race that's going to be awesome. Piri asks, will Landmark ever support private servers where you can invite your friends and build on a whole world without claims, like Minecraft? We're still discussing this. We probably will never allow private servers, like a server that you host on your own, just because it'll mess with, it'll let people like hack the game and mod the game in ways that we probably don't want. We have definitely discussed instanced servers, like having like private islands, like very, very large spaces for guilds or people who are very passionate. We don't know. We're still designing. We're still talking about the implications of that because there are a huge amount of implications if you change how people can see things, right? And so if all of a sudden there are all of these private instances, does that mean that nobody gets to see all the cool stuff out in the world anymore? And so I don't know. We don't know what the answer to that is yet. We're still working on it. But great question. Will the voxels be able to move? Space Engineer is a voxel game where you can make the voxels rotate around the point, water wheels, elevators. Mayhem, we're still talking about stuff like that. We're talking about physics and redstone and things like that. We don't have any of it ready to show or announce yet, but I wouldn't be surprised at all if you start seeing things like that in the future. Have you guys considered a shift mode that allows us to switch back and forth between the two tools? I don't think so, and one of the things that we're trying to do is make sure that there's not too much complexity in the tools, because it would be really easy for Landmark to become Photoshop the MMO. And we definitely need to avoid that because, the power of the tools is perfectly fine for people who played 100 hours, right? Like at the point that you played 100 hours, you could play Photoshop the MMO and really enjoy it. But we really have to be careful for people who are in hour 10, hour 1 of their gameplay experience, not making it so complicated that they just leave, right? So we have to make sure that new players can come in and feel good about the game and not feel overwhelmed. Neurotoxin, I think I've got the hang of OBS, but I'll definitely ask you if I've got any questions because I was just having weird tech difficulties. But now that I've got it basically figured out, I think it's cool. The best thing too is I was telling Dave Georgeson last week that I had started streaming, and he got really excited because I think he didn't understand that it's not super complicated. Because when we do it at work, right, we have this whole team, 3, 4, 5 guys who specialize. They make all the videos, they record all the roundtables. They're our audiovisual creative services department, and they're really awesome. Almost like professional cinematographers, like for a movie or something. And so, it's really easy for us to think like that this was a big production, but when I said that I was doing it, and everyone knows that I'm pretty incompetent, I think Dave got the idea that he could do it, and so I promised that I would help him set up. But because I've been using Wirecast, I didn't know how to use OBS. Now that I think I've got it down, I'm going to show Dave next week how to do OBS, and I wouldn't be surprised if by next weekend you see Mr. Georgeson on a stream or two, which would be so freaking awesome. Because he started, he just hangs out in the streams. I went into a stream at 1 o'clock last night, and Dave was in there talking to people. It was really cool. Yeah, Geek Domo, we can talk about giveaway stuff. Obviously, now's not the best time, but yeah, I'm happy to chat through it. Giveaways are fairly complicated, and there was just a fairly large streamer that was suspended from Twitch for his giveaways, so it's been controversial lately for folks who don't know all that much about it. Let's see. Why did they not put the fact that it isn't unlimited access when I bought the Founders Pack? It was one of the reasons I purchased the $100 version. Candors, I'm pretty sure that it says that the buddy keys are time-limited keys. I can't remember offhand exactly where, but send me a message about it offline, and we can talk about it some more. All right, sorry guys. For folks who are just joining, my name is Omid Daryani. I'm the Senior Brand Manager for the EverQuest franchise. So that's EverQuest, EverQuest 2, EverQuest Next, and Landmark. So you can ask me any questions about that. I am ostensibly playing. Actually, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and change this game from Hearthstone to Landmark, just because I'm definitely not playing Hearthstone at the moment, and I'm talking about Landmark. There's a problem editing status, huh? Screw you, Twitch. All right, well, hopefully can someone tell me if it's showing up for them that it's now Landmark? Okay, let me see. There we are. But yeah, I'm happy to answer questions about pretty much anything, and I was going to play Hearthstone, but much like last week, it's become question and answer because you guys have such great questions, and the chat is more interesting than Hearthstone. So, Mary Rose says, "Thank you for all you do." Well, thank you. I appreciate that. We do work really hard, and we really care about what we're doing. Like I said, this is my personal time, and what am I doing? I'm hanging out with you guys and drinking scotch, which doesn't hurt. MTG Gamer Geek says, "I have a rare bottle of single malt that I've been looking to sell." Yes, we should talk about it, especially if you would take trade in unusual foil magic cards. All right, let's see. Trying to catch up. Thank you guys so much for all these great questions. My cat sounds sick. No, that's just... I think that the cat is actually deaf, is what we're coming to the conclusion on. That she just can't hear herself, which is why she sounds so horrible. Which is kind of a bummer, but that's how it goes. Let's see. I was just grappling in my live stream and I went into Superman pose. Yeah, that's a nice bug. Chillum asks, how do you get the Omid smiley? You subscribe to Geek Domo's channel on Twitch. It's one of the emoticons there. And I'm subscribed there because obviously I'm going to pay $5 a month to have an emoticon of my own face. It's pretty much the best $5 I've ever spent in my life. Question, play Hearthstone. Hi, Planewalker, nice to see you. I will if the questions stop coming in. I definitely will play some Hearthstone, but Omid doesn't really want you to punch babies. Look, nerdy mechanic, don't put words in my mouth. If I want people to punch babies, then I will. Let's see. Punch babies in the face when we 2014. That is a good campaign slogan, isn't it? Will there be an option to adjust the strength tool? I don't think there's currently one planned, Dutch Tiger, but you're the second person to bring it up on this stream. You guys should tweet Dave Georgeson, tweet Terry, write posts on our forum about that because we definitely want the feedback on the tool. For us, it's a very improved tool, and we want to see what everyone thinks. Obviously we're in alpha, we're testing. Azure Blade says, are they expanding the current size of the islands in the future or a way to travel aside from Wizard Spires? Yeah, the goal is to expand the size of the islands. It's really a question of how our servers balance as to how big those islands are going to be. And as for ways to travel aside from Wizard Spires, yeah, we are thinking that you'll be able to travel between them, possibly on boats, possibly by swimming. We don't have water yet, which is one of the reasons why we haven't determined how you're going to get between islands. So stand by for that. Let's see. Is there any talk of grouping voxels for use in mechanisms or preventing unwanted welding? Yeah, there is discussion about grouping voxels for mechanisms. We're still trying to figure out exactly what we want to do as far as things like redstone or motion blocks, that kind of thing. I'm not 100% sure we'll actually do it, but it's certainly being discussed. So we would love to hear your ideas on that. I just received a donation. Thank you very much. I'm sorry. Let me look real quick. I missed who it was from. Keolini. I want to hear the story of the origin of the ONOD. Well, we will get to it as soon as we can, sir. Let's see. If you keep the tool simple, aren't you afraid of driving players away after a while? No, actually, because simplicity and power are not mutually exclusive. The idea is, I would say that simple tools are what you start the game with. You have add and delete, basically. And that feels a lot like playing Minecraft, right? You can stack up blocks and you can remove blocks. And then the tools that we give you are immensely more powerful. I think the thing that's most important is trying to keep the number of different tools down and making them have a lot of utility. Chief Archon asks, will Landmark ever allow Boolean subtraction using templates? I don't even know what that is, so I can't answer you. What I would do is I would tweet that question to Steve Klug, S. Klug, our tech director, and he is the person who would be able to tell you that. I assume it's a great question since I don't know what it is. Yeah, if Dave Georgeson started a stream, he would get so many viewers so quickly. I totally agree, which is one of the reasons I'm really excited to help him get that started. And I think that there's a lot of demand for people that are in the game industry to stream, even if it's just super low key. Like Dave was just talking about, like, he just sits at home and builds in his spare time. Like, if there was a button to just broadcast that out, which we're working on, to put right into the game. But if there was just a button to broadcast that out, why wouldn't he? People want to see what he's doing, absolutely, because he's Dave and he's really good at building. So yeah, I'm really excited for that. Do I ever get sick of saying my name is Omid Daryani? I'm the senior brand manager of, and I'm going to keep saying it, EverQuest Next, EverQuest Landmark, EverQuest, and EverQuest 2. No, actually, I really like it. I'm really excited to be working on all those things, so it's fun. A lot of times when you're doing these, you have to just repeat yourself over and over. Like, we did presentations at Gamescom and PAX Prime. I don't know, God, we did like 8 or 10 or 20 of them a day, it felt like. And, just saying the same things over and over. And honestly, never got tired, even when it was just the same discussion over and over. So someone says I need to change the name of the game on the dashboard, so let me go do that real quick. All right, that worked. Thank you. Thank you, guys. Who said that? Oh, thank you, Reese. Let's see. Come to my town and hang out. What, in Toronto? I love Toronto. Avindia says, love you guys. This is awesome. You're welcome. Thank you so much. Thank you for watching. Thanks to all of you for watching. I really appreciate it. It's a lot of fun to talk to you guys. That's why, it's my day off. That's why I'm doing this. Do I play any top-down dungeon crawlers or RTS games? Yes. I play a lot of RTS games poorly. I would say the last one that I played really well was Rise of Nations. And Clash of Clans, if you consider that an RTS, which I do, even though it's a pretty light one. But I played that pretty competitively for a while with some of the guys from Curse. StarCraft, StarCraft 2, Warcraft, Warcraft 3, Warcraft 2. But I haven't played them a lot recently. And I definitely, don't do League of Legends or Dota. I don't do them well. Dungeon crawl games, though, no, I'd say like more turn-based strategy games like XCOM. I do a fair amount of. It's been a while since I played like Diablo type stuff. More scotch equals more spoilers. That's true, Cody. The more I drink, the worse the stream becomes, but probably the more entertaining. I'd love for you to become partnered on Twitch, though you prefer a smaller or larger group of people. Well, Nayballs, the big thing for me is time. Like, I would also be interested in doing that, but I really don't have time to stream more than once a week at this point. So it's something that I'm looking at, and maybe over time I can find a way to emphasize this a little more, because I really have a good time doing it. Let's see. Big topic for a lot of players. Will costumes be one-piece outfits or a mix and match? They will probably be one-piece to start with, but I think that the long-term goal is for them to be mix and match, and for people to be able to have the level of customization to it. Why do the trees have faces? Yeah, that's a little disturbing, isn't it? Let's see. I want to see just how bad Omida is at building. Yeah, pretty bad. The first thing I built in Landmark was out in a desert. It was a giant rectangle, and I just wrote the words Fortress of Solitude on top of it. It was made of ice. Fortress of Solitude on top, and then we went inside. There was one chair facing the corner, and just the word sad written on the wall. Because really, I'm just terrible at building things, I played a lot of Minecraft. I was just terrible at that. Everything for me is about the resource gathering, the progression, and the survival elements of it. So I'm really excited for when we start getting NPCs and danger in. The things that I've been building out in the world were, and there's the horrible cat again. But I've been building like ramps, like extreme sports sort of things, like obstacle courses, that kind of thing. So I really like it when people are building those. When will there be Australian servers? I'm not sure. It's definitely, Australia is one of the countries that's on our list. Like we get a lot of interest from Australia, a lot of players, and a fair amount of revenue. So we love Australia, and I'm personally always looking for a good excuse to go. New Zealand servers first. Yeah, absolutely. We're gonna implement New Zealand servers, and we'll definitely block Australian IPs when we do that. All right, trying to catch up with the chat. Thanks, guys, so much. These are great questions and great conversation too. I'm trying to address everything I can. It's great to see you guys answering each other's questions as well. Time to go play some EQ1. Damn right. Get Holly to do Twitch also. That would be awesome. I would love to see her live streaming. Holly Longdale is the senior producer of EverQuest 2. And that now that Maggie is on EverQuest 2 as the community manager, I think we're going to see some EQ2 live streaming, and I bet we can wrangle Holly onto them. Oh, I see. Yeah, okay, I understand what you mean now, Chief Archon. Uh, I'm not sure if that's planned. It seems really fairly easy to implement from where we are, so it would really just be a question of if they're going to build that tool. Let's see. Hey, Minion. I'm doing all right this weekend. I was a little sick earlier in the week, but have mostly recovered and am excited to be hanging out streaming. Thanks for asking. How are you guys doing? Let's see. When open beta starts, will you guys be doing wipes or will it stop? If not, then when will it stop? So we posted up on the site in our FAQ our wipe schedule, which is, we reserve the right to do additional wipes if we have to. But the goal, and I think you guys have seen so far, we're really, really, really trying not to do wipes because we know how damaging it is and how discouraging it is to have to go back out and get everything again and do all the progression stuff again. So even this time, which would have been a really logical update to wipe on, right, to put all those biomes in, we decided to just add more islands rather than doing a wipe to add to add the biomes into all the continents. So we're really trying to minimize the number of wipes, and so far successfully. I think that there will definitely be a wipe when we go from alpha to closed beta, and there will definitely be a wipe when we go from closed beta to open beta. Those are the only wipes that we can't avoid, and hopefully everything will stay good and the data will stay safe, and we'll be able to make those the only wipes. Did I ever play Ogre Battle for Super Nintendo? No, I didn't. I know what it is. I just never had it. Back in the Super Nintendo days, because like I said, if you can imagine, whatever you can imagine the most boring game is, that's the game that, sets my heart on fire. So back then, I was playing a lot of Romance of the Three Kingdoms. So much Romance of the Three Kingdoms. Geek Domo says, "I love Treeface." It's funny, when we bought our house here, the previous owners had like this horrifying face on the tree out front, and it's still there. I really, really want to take it down because it's creepy. It's kind of creepy as hell, but I just haven't done it yet. And then someone tweeted Emily a picture of a tree face, like a real one, talking about Landmark, and it's the one that's on our tree outside. So that was like fairly disturbing. So guys, so for people who are just coming in, my name is Omi Daryani. I'm the Senior Brand Manager of the EverQuest franchise. That's EverQuest, EverQuest 2, EverQuest Next, and Landmark. So I'm happy to answer any questions you have about those games, to answer questions about games in general, to talk about the gaming industry, whatever it is you guys want to talk about, or Scotch is also fine. If you're new to the channel, it would be great if you would follow me here. Follow me on YouTube as well and Twitter, because I communicate a lot and would love to have you around. Okay, so let me get caught up on questions. Why do all the butterflies in Landmark only have one wing? I don't know, and that's really sad, isn't it? I assume we'll fix that. Let's see. Algren. It sounds like our system was just down when you tried to buy Landmark. So feel free to try again. If you have any problems, like if you get double charged or anything like that, you can send a message to our customer service and they'll take care of you. And if you have any problems getting that resolved, send me a message here or on Twitter, and I'll take care of it for you. Does the cat have a name? Splurgetastic asks. Yes, the cat's name is Kit Kat. We didn't name the cat. is actually a fairly funny slash sad story. My wife, when she moved to San Diego, because she's a huge cat lover, wanted a cat, and sort of only here half the time, and so found a cat on Craigslist that was really old, whose owner had died, and it's like the owner's daughter was looking for a home for this just old ass cat uh, named Kit Kat, and so brought the cat over. They hit it off, so Jen took the cat and took it to the vet after a couple days because she was like very energetic and stuff. It's like, how old is this cat, do you think? And the vet's like, I don't know, probably 5. He's like, well, she's supposed to be like 14. It's like, well, she's definitely not 14. So we figured out that what happened was at some point this older lady had this cat, and the cat probably died, and someone they replaced it with like another cat that looked fairly similar, and just never told her. So now we have this cat, pretty much forever, who I think is deaf and makes some fairly horrifying sounds, but we love her, so we'll take care of her. Hey, Gold Blue, nice to see you. Just hanging out, answering questions, chatting with folks. It's pretty fun. I was attempting to play some Hearthstone. I actually wanted to play XCOM today, but my setup is just not cooperating. So maybe next weekend. But yeah, just answering questions, talking to people. How are you doing? Devil May Strike loves the new smoothing tool, makes it easier. Now an improved line tool. Yeah. Stay tuned. Everything, we're still in the alpha on Landmark. Everything is in process. Everything is, being improved. All the tools are being improved. Everything is going to change as we go. It's just really exciting. But yeah, and anything like any critiques, thoughts, improvements you can think of, tweet them to me, tweet them to Dave Georgeson, to Terry Michaels, post them on our forums. We'd love to hear from you. We're really serious in Alpha about you guys helping us design this stuff. We're viewing you as an extension of the development team. So we really want to get your ideas and feedback on what's working and what's not. Krona, oh hey Krona, I've seen you around today, but asks, do you think the current keybinds will be too bulky and slow with combat and PvP? It's very possible. It's one of those your mileage may vary things, and we haven't tested them with combat and PvP just yet, obviously. So something that can change, and obviously we're going to add in ability for you to change the key bindings to your preferences as well. So if they don't work that well for PvP, we'll be able to change them, no problem. Trendane won a Prime Grappler. Congrats, man. So for you guys who are in chat, we're giving away a few Prime Grapplers for EverQuest Next Landmark. And these are just super powerful grappling hooks for the alpha. They only last during the alpha portion. But they are pretty cool. And the grappling hook, too, is one of the coolest things in the game. I don't know what you guys think, but it's really been blowing my mind, just showing, just how it works in the game, and, that feeling of being Spider-Man is just so fun. Take us on a tour of your house. Oh, would that I could, but we're having enough tech problems here that if I do that, it will probably end the stream. But it's a nice place. Been joking around about doing streams because, this is all very temporary. Like I said, this is only my 3rd or 4th stream. And I'm having a lot of fun, so I'm getting a little bit more serious about it, but I still, I'm just doing it for fun. Like, this is just, this is not like a permanent location. So we've been joking around about doing live streaming from outside because, I live in San Diego. It's very nice right now. Sorry, everyone, but, it's like 75 degrees. So yeah, I don't know. Would love to show people around. I got some cool random stuff around here. Oh yeah, and Zaitsev says, make sure you're following the channel if you want to win one of the codes. Definitely do. And, just follow the channel anyway, because it's okay, right? Like, this isn't too boring, is it? Kellamdor asks, is there a chance closed beta might get pushed back from Honor before March 31st? There's always a chance, right? Something horrible could happen, but right now, and this is something I ask about at least 2-3 times a week, I go make sure everyone's feeling okay, that everyone's at work and not in the hospital, uh, and everyone is 100% confident that we'll be in closed beta before March 31st. So, unless some unforeseeable disaster happens, I would anticipate closed beta is going to start this month. Amino Dark asks, has the Landmark team noticed there's a pretty obvious lack of EverQuest racial building going on, like gnome houses, ogres, etc.? Personally, he thinks it's because we're all playing humans. We've seen a little bit of it, but you're right, not a ton. And we're really not at the point yet where we're asking for it. And I think that when we start asking people to create those racial things, and also when we start introducing textures and props and things that are very specific to those sorts of places, that we'll see a lot more of it. So we're really early in this. And one of the cool things about EverQuest Next Landmark is that stuff that people build in that game is going to translate over to EverQuest Next. So I think we'll see a lot of this stuff. Oh man, look at this is how far behind I am on the chat, but all the love for Romance of the Three Kingdoms. Yeah, Romance of the Three Kingdoms got me into Chinese history and Chinese culture, and if you haven't actually read Romance of the Three Kingdoms, which is a novel, it's worth it. It's one of the 3 great works of Chinese literature. Endless Space is a lot of fun. That's in FTL, but it's a black hole like Civ 5. Endless Space is so FTL, Faster Than Light, is one of my favorite games of the last few years. It's a space simulator roguelike. So basically, you just get a spaceship, and you go out and try to not die. And it has a very loose plot, but there's a mod called Endless Space that makes it more like Star Trek, where you just kind of roll up on planets and see what's happening. And yeah, once you start playing it that way, man, it just doesn't stop. It's endless. But I highly, highly recommend it. Kadzu asks, we know the new server and islands are just for alpha and beta. Should we expect new world layouts? Or when should we expect new world layouts? I believe that we'll get new world layouts when we go to closed beta in that wipe, because we're going to want to get rid of all the islands that don't have all the biomes on them. So we'll probably do a complete procedural regeneration for closed beta. Will we be able to turn sounds on our claim like the Void Vault? Probably. I think that you're going to have a lot of ability to adjust sound and what's going on your claim. Do I have Thor Chazar asks, do I have a favorite brand of scotch? He likes Johnny Walker Black. Well, I am not opposed to Johnny Walker at all, Thor. If I had to pick one favorite brand, I would probably go with Lefroy. Even though I don't think it's 100% the best, I think they have the nice broadest range of scotch, and it's from Islay, which is the really smoky, almost like painful to drink scotches, which I really like. But yeah, I mean, I like a pretty wide range of scotch. I like the stuff that has a lot of flavor, basically. Ballistic says, put in a Prime Grappler and didn't see it at all. I think since the last patch, we've been having some problems with the Prime Grappler, so it may show up on a delay. If you don't have it in a day or two, then send a note to customer service or post on the forums, and they'll get it taken care of for you. Hey, Grimfire, nice to see you. Drac, oh, thank you. Yeah, it is a fairly serious wine collection. Mayballs, I will definitely pass your appreciation on to the team. And it's something too, like, we actually are getting a lot of compliments on our approach and on our engagement with the community. But I will say for sure, like, every time somebody thanks us for it, we really appreciate it. It's really hard. It's really hard to do, and adds another layer of complexity to our jobs, because we have to understand what everyone is thinking, or what we think people are going to say when we do things, which is great, right? It makes us more accountable and makes us make better decisions. But a lot of places don't do it, and primarily because the less you guys know, the easier it is for us to just do whatever we want. You know what I mean? So we do really appreciate it every time somebody says so. And yeah, I highly recommend getting on Twitter. Like, just tweet at Dave, Terry, Rosie, Jeff, Steve, Emily, anyone that's on any of these teams, Colette, and just let them know how you feel, because it's the sort of thing where we want to keep doing it because we think it really works. Ara Gaming says, do you think we might see a single voxel line tool? I wouldn't be surprised. Like the microvoxel stuff that's been coming has really changed a lot of what we're thinking about the game. So, we may end up refining that. Also, Ara Gaming, by the way, I was hanging out in her stream, and Dave Jorgensen was there last night. It was a pretty cool stream, so you should toss her a follow as well. Shade Strike says, instead of me building, why not go sit on someone's claim and watch them build? That is a great idea. I don't know why I didn't think about that. Maybe I will do that. Arklich says, did you play the new XCOM or the old ones? I've only played the new one, actually. I didn't have a computer when I was a kid, when I was younger, so I didn't have access to them, or I wasn't aware of XCOM until the relaunch. And I played a lot of Civilization. I love Sid Meier games, so the first time I heard about it was when they did the relaunch recently. I picked it up just because I was like, well, it'll probably be the sort of game I like, and it turned out that I liked it a million times more than I ever thought. Oh, and also, so Geek Domo in the chat as well is a streamer. He does the Into the Portal show, along with Legendary Neurotoxin. So both Geek Domo and Legendary Neurotoxin you should definitely follow as well. We're really excited that we've got so many good streamers on our show, or on EverQuest Next. It's really exciting for us. So we love it when you guys go watch them as much as when you watch us. Kestav asks, do you have some date on to do an optimization of the game? And the answer to that is that we're constantly doing optimization to the game. So I don't know that, like PlanetSide 2 recently did a big optimization patch where they pretty much put all development resources into optimization for a significant amount of time. I don't know that we're going to do that. We're trying to optimize as we go. So I think that the system requirements and like the general load on your systems is going down. It may not be noticeable, but a little bit every time we update. And so we'll probably look at system requirements again when we get to closed beta and see if they've changed at all. Landmark works fine on Vista 64. Is there a reason it's not specified as an acceptable OS? It's a great question. I have no idea why it's not on there. Could you do me a favor and send me a message about that so that I don't forget to ask people? I would appreciate that. Thanks, DN Gurumc. Can we have an option to not paste void space or air with the selection tool? Fubar, I think that is coming. I think that's something that we're looking at, but I don't know exactly when that will happen. Modus Moron asks, are the Prime Grappler codes working? Not yet received mine in game. I said that I think that they may be broken from the last patch, so they may not be working, but give it a couple days, and if it's still not in, and also make sure your inventory isn't full, because that's been the problem for a lot of people. But if they're not in, then send a note to customer service, and they'll get it taken care of for you. All right, these are great questions, guys. I'm sorry, I'm pretty behind on the chat just because there are so many good questions. Are we going to have a panel at PAX East? I'm not sure, Paradox, if we'll have a panel specifically. We will certainly be there in some form or another. We're still working it out. We're not going to have a booth on the floor, but we're talking to a few partners about potentially being in their booth. So we'll definitely be there and have presence, and I'm hoping to go as well. So we'll definitely, like last year for PAX, we did a community meet and greet where we just took over a bar and bought people drinks for several hours, and that was pretty fun. I anticipate that at the very least we'll do something like that again. Will there be water before closed beta? Archon asks. I don't think so. I don't think that we're going to get to liquids before closed beta, but check out the roadmap for the best guidance on that. One of my streams, I said I have two characters. Does that mean we'll get another character slot? I currently have two accounts. I have one account with the name Omid, and then I have one that I don't tell anyone the name of so that I can play anonymously, so that I can suck at building anonymously. I suck at building on both of them, but, only one of them can you actually find me. We will. I'm not actually sure if we're going to add additional character slots. I mean, it's very traditional in MMOs, so I wouldn't be surprised, but I'm not sure where the design team is on that. I know that right now they're really interested in everyone only having one character because what we're trying to do is, gather data on how people are playing. It becomes so much harder if we have to, divide up between characters. Are there plans to make more worked metal textures? Yeah, absolutely. There are plans, Noodlecat, for just tons and tons of new textures. We're just, we're very early, so we're still building them. Will we see a swamp biome for closed beta? I don't think so for closed beta. I'm not exactly sure when the next set of biomes are coming in. Oh, hey, Sango. It's no problem if you're late. Just glad that you got here. Switcheroos yells Glenfiddich 15. That's a pretty solid one. I was drinking Glenfiddich 15 on the last stream. Actually, don't have a bottle of it over here with me at the moment. But I do have a bottle of Glenfiddich 12. Lagavulin is the best scotch, in my opinion, says Jular. Lagavulin is probably my favorite individual scotch. The only reason I didn't name them as my favorite brand is that they really only have one mass market bottle, and then 2 or 3 bottles that are relatively easy to find, and then past that, they're fairly difficult to find in the States. But yeah, I love Lagavulin. All right, trying to catch up, folks. Devil May Strike. Thank you for coming. Let's see. I never used Twitter until this game. Curse you, Landmark. Yeah, that's true. I mean, I even didn't use Twitter that much until this. I had a Twitter account, but I really struggled to find a use for it. And really, this game has been the perfect platform for Twitter. Or Twitter has been the perfect platform for it. Our ability to communicate with people in real time is just incredible there. It works so well, and it's funny too because since we're Sony, right, we have reps over at Twitter for all sorts of things, and I chat with them. We do some really cool stuff with Twitter too, and they're constantly impressed by some of the stuff that we managed to make happen. But my favorite thing is just the amount of people that we've actually brought onto Twitter is really cool. Do you have any idea which direction PvP might head on Landmark? Yes, we have some very good ideas to what we're thinking PvP is going to do. Just primarily, people are going to build giant castles, and then other people are going to build catapults and try to destroy those castles. That's pretty awesome. And so the ability for people to essentially build their own battlegrounds is really, I think, where it's at for PvP and Landmark. Into the Portal is a great show. It really is, Modus, and it's really cool too because it's been going for a long time. I mean, it's been going since way before we launched into alpha, and it started at a point where there really wasn't that much to talk about. We weren't answering questions, we weren't really providing a lot of information, and they were just able, Geek Domo, Legendary Neurotoxin, the other folks on the show, Trendane, who's also here. Really able to fill a couple hours a week with interesting conversation about the game and just I mean, it was really fun for us. Like, we try to watch it every week. Do I play games like League of Legends or any FPS? I do, but not well. Um, League of Legends is very sad for me every time I play it. I just have to come to terms with how terrible my reflexes are, which is the same problem with FPSs. I used to play a lot of like Battlefield 1942, like that era of FPS. A lot of the like Jedi Academy, Jedi Outcast kind of games. Like once you modded them up, they were pretty cool. But into the modern era of them, I just don't. I don't have the twitch reflexes for it, and I mostly play really boring, slow games. Yeah, this chat is great. Uh, Sorry guys, trying to keep up. I'm still pretty behind. But thank you guys so much for all the great questions and great conversation. Uh, it is incredibly good. You could stream from PAX East, wink. Mayhem. Yeah, we are actually talking about it. We probably will do some streaming from PAX East, and we're just kind of putting together the schedule and putting together what we want to do. But I would say look for us there. Will there be guilds before closed beta? I'm not sure, Joseph Free Realms. We are trying to get them in as quickly as possible, but I would say 50-50 before closed beta. But it's really important for us. I just don't know that we're there yet. Will we get the option to paste templates with or without props? I'm not sure. Because you could certainly save a template without any props in it and then paste that template, right? So you could always save a version with no props and then save a version with props. So it becomes one of those things where if we can add an option like that, but at some point when we've added all the options we can pick up that way, we end up with a game that is more like Photoshop the MMO, where you have to watch video after video after video just to understand how to use the interface, and we really want to avoid that. Anyone have tips on joining two curved surfaces at right angles? PM me if anyone has advice. I feel like there are some good videos for that out there. Like, people have done some great building tutorials. I can't think of one offhand, though. Are the devs aware that at the last patch, anyone who stored something in the new large chests lost the entire content of the chest? Yes, we are aware of that. We're working on it. It's a bummer. lots of fun stuff like that in alpha, right? Let's see. Other than water, what liquids can we expect? Definitely lava. We've talked about a lot. I would expect there to be a fair amount. Boiling mud may not be super high on my list, but yeah, we should have fairly robust liquids. The challenge is getting the system in and tested and working. Once that system is in, different kinds of liquids shouldn't be that hard. Let's see. Denver Tim, I have tried, and I have no idea how to pronounce it. Okin Tashan. It is really good. I don't actually have any of it here, but yeah, I've liked it when I've tried it. Geekdom, love your new Twitter name, Omid. Yeah, I'm so happy. I was finally able to get the Twitter handle Omid instead of Omid Daryani, which, being a Twitter nerd, made me super excited. Grimfire says, when PvP is in the game, will I come fight in your arena? If your arena is awesome, yeah. And especially if you can get people who suck there so I can kill them. I can't believe you ranked meeting guys from Google higher than meeting Stan Lee. Well, it was Reddit, not Google Corona. But yeah. And it wasn't that meeting Stan Lee wasn't awesome, but I think that everyone sort of has the same connection with Stan Lee. Like, everyone loves the things that he's done, whereas like I have loved Reddit since it first started and have been using it from the very beginning. And I mean, I've met Stan Lee a few times, and just for whatever reason, the first time I met someone from Reddit was pretty recently, and I just geeked out. It was awesome. Massively multiplayer online side-scrolling shooter. Hey, Bardtail. Yeah, that is a crazy idea. Well, I mean, it actually gets into the realm of like Gaia Online, right? Like that kind of game. Let's see. When is SOE Moat coming into the game? Tubby Vermin. That's a great handle, by the way. I'm not exactly sure. It's something that's being worked on, and I'm hoping sooner rather than later. But I'm guessing that it's sort of like a mid priority. I'm not even sure. Do you guys know if it's on the roadmap? I can't remember seeing it on the current roadmap even. So it might be a little ways out. What do I mean I don't play FPS well? We aren't going to stomp Titanfall together? Well, so I'm mostly good at playing, like medics and things like that, things that don't require aim. I have the same problem in basketball, where I'm actually really good at all the defensive stuff, but I can't shoot. Like, I can't aim. I can't play pool. I'm not very good at darts. Like, anything involving aiming is a little rough for me. Trying to catch up. Any active RPGs? The Zagron asks. I would say no, not right now. I just haven't like it's they're really time consuming, right? And that's kind of where it gets to. Like my ability to sit down and play a game for more than a couple hours is like really limited at this point. So I definitely haven't been playing too many RPGs, but I do love them. I'd say probably the last one that I played quite a bit was Knights of Pen and Paper on the iPhone. That was actually like surprisingly good RPG. Could I shoot you some grappler codes to give away on the channel? Probably. Send me a message sometime when I'm not streaming Aura, and we will take care of that. I want the wine in the background. Had to say, yeah, it's pretty good. We'll probably be drinking some of it a bit later. Okay, trying to catch up on chat. So if you guys haven't already, please follow me here and on Twitter and YouTube below. If you guys like, you can buy me a glass of scotch. The details are also below, and I will tell one of my stories of my disastrous career for you. Your choice. Let's see. I add the ability to purchase building materials from the store. Yes, we are going to have the ability to purchase resources from the store. We're still working on pricing and that sort of stuff, but yeah, we're planning to have that ability in there. Omid Darhani is quite a mouthful. Yeah, and not particularly easy to say or spell if you're not familiar with it. So having just Omid, way better for a Twitter handle. Talk any more about having farms or livestock. Well, we haven't really discussed anything externally about systems like that, so yeah, we're not ready to talk about it too much. I have been playing a lot of Banished though, where having cows and sheep is a lot of fun. And that's another game too. If you like city building games, I highly recommend. Retina Burn says, "Oh, Mita's stealing all our viewers." Yeah, sorry. Retina Burn actually is another streamer that you guys should follow and check out. He's pretty cool. I've hung out in his stream a couple times. Just kind of chill. Really good music if you like metal. So definitely check it out. Also, like fairly respectable beard, which is really important for Landmark players apparently. Did I take Dave into a dark corner and coerce him into making some steampunk props, pipes, etc.? We will almost certainly have some steampunk props. Steampunk is sometimes a little bit of a dirty word around the office, but I'm sure that it will be there. On Player Studio, will we ever be able to create polygon props, or will it be vox? Oh, you mean like things in Maya or 3ds Max? Yeah, you will eventually be able to create props and costumes and things like that as well. We just don't have that in just yet. But yeah, I mean, in our other games, you can already create all sorts of poly-based constructions. So we're definitely going to have the same sort of thing in our game. Oh, Kerbal Space Program. Yeah, I actually played Kerbal like right when it first came out, just a little bit, and had a really hard time, literally getting off the ground there. But I do want to go back to it because just the looks on the Kerbal's faces is so enjoyable. Yeah, phase 2 for SOE mode. Thank you for looking that up, Mary Nan. Yeah, I mean, we're really excited to have it too, and I know that on Into the Portal on Friday they were even joking around about just in the future, like when they're streaming, instead of having to look at this, you can look at the character and just have the character in game uh, be the streaming person. I think that's really cool. Yeah, I'm really excited for SOE mode. Could I do something to entertain your 10-month-old? How much does your 10-month-old like wine? I could give your 10-month-old some wine. That's probably not a great idea, is it? Oh, well, thank you, Bartail. I would, yeah. If you want to give me a copy on Steam of Kerbal, yeah, I would definitely play it. Uh, let's see. I just posted Into the Portal on Reddit, and it's been downvoted 4 times. I love Reddit. Yeah, Reddit doesn't seem to like Locke very much, which is an opinion that I share with them. So maybe that's your problem. You might want to consider getting rid of him. Let's see. Will there be how much of a focus will there be on combating Landmark? There's gonna be a significant focus on combat. We're gonna have a lot of combat, PvP as well as PvE combat, and we're just not there yet because we're still pretty early in the alpha. Okay, let's see. What is my opinion of console cartridge games versus online games? Do you feel that SOE should offer something a player can have forever? Well, I mean, I think that, and it's kind of a diplomatic answer, but it is how I feel, that console games and online games are very different from each other, and they're very different experiences. And, we're looking for different things when we play them. So I think they both have value, people have said like online games or PC games are dying for forever, and they've never been dying. You know, PC Master Race is constantly talking about how the consoles suck and consoles are bigger than ever. So I think what we've seen is that gaming is just growing, and there's still so much room to grow in gaming that we don't even understand how big it's going to get. Uh, so there's so much room for all types of games, and like sitting down and playing through The Last of Us feels so much different than firing up EverQuest 2 that it's really something for a different sort of day, like a different sort of player. And for some people, like they don't want to play both, so now they have a home. And do I feel like SOE should offer something a player can have forever? I mean, I would make the argument that those online games are more like they give you more than a console game can, right? Like a person who started playing EverQuest in 1999 has had something for 15 years, and in 1999, like what game was I playing besides EverQuest? Like I think about like Super Mario, right? Like I played the hell out of Super Mario, Super Mario 2, Super Mario 3 when I was a kid, and I'll always have those memories. But I can't still have the game. Like I can't still play it the same way that I did then. When I go back and play those games, they feel antiquated, because I stopped for a long time. Whereas a lot of people play our games for years and years and years. So it's almost more like they get to keep something, right? Like I can't tell you how many console games I have that, I just stop playing after a while. I just gravitate towards games that I can play forever, right? Like XCOM, Civilization. These are games that go through iteration to stay alive, but also are games that don't really have endings. Like as soon as you get to the end, you go back to the beginning. It still feels like the same game the whole way through. Bardtail, I will. I will PM you my Steam name at some point. If I don't, just remind me. Yeah, Paradox Moose says he's available to replace Locke on Into the Portal. I highly recommend that move. Other than deleting your claim, is there any way to reset other than selection tool and heal? I don't think so. I think those are the only ways to actually do that at this point. Uh, we have heard quite a lot of requests for an ability to like reset your claim or something like that. So it's something we're talking about too, but I don't know where we're going to land on it. Is there going to be different character types introduced into Landmark? Uh, Probably eventually, but not in the very short term. But we're creating all those other character types for EverQuest Next as well, so it's not unreasonable that we would move them into Landmark. Can I discuss progression? Heard that we're going to get away from tool-based progression. Are we going to have skill-based progression instead of level-based? Well, I mean, a lot of it, there is going to be tool-based progression, and I can't speak to this as well as like Dave and Terry will. Uh, the idea of progression is across like collecting the building tools, right? Those are skills, like they're character skills. You're going to want to be upgrading equipment and things like that as you're fighting monsters and that sort of thing as well. So there will still be progression, but one of the big things is achievements for progression, right? Like sort of like objectives and that sort of thing driving you through the game. Uh, we feel is a lot more interesting than just saying, okay, well now you're like level 60. See you later, Geek Domos. Great to have you. Let's see. I don't see how people play FPSs on a controller. Yeah, I always have a hard time aiming with the controller. A lot of times they have like the auto aim or the aim help as well, which I don't know. Like, and that's one of the things I really like about FPSs and reveals how bad I am. Right? It's like I really want to be able to headshot people. Like I just want to be a sniper and go sit somewhere and headshot people. But even when I find those like perfect locations, like I still can't hit anything. Like because it's hard to aim when you have that precision. Oh, burrito achieved. Legendary Neurotoxin also lives in California, where we have the best burritos, and so so yeah, I'm a little jealous. Maybe I'll go get a burrito later too. Hey, Stike, nice to see you. Thanks for joining us. And if you guys haven't already, it would be great if you follow the channel. Follow me on Twitter, that sort of thing. For people who are just joining, my name is Omi Daryani. I'm the Senior Brand Manager of the EverQuest franchise. That's EverQuest, EverQuest 2, EverQuest Next, and Landmark. So I'm happy to answer questions about that. Happy to talk about the gaming industry in general, video games in general, Scotch, whatever you like. So I was actually going to play some Hearthstone, but the chat has been so good. This is a recurring theme. This is, I think, my fourth stream. Recurring theme of them is the chat is so interesting that I don't actually get to play that many games. But yeah, so let me see where we are here. Can I discuss what the process is going to be like in regards to quality control and bringing creations from Landmark to Next? Yeah, give me 1 second, Switcheroo. So someone else just donated to buy me a drink. I'm looking that up now. Thank you very much. Denver Tim, thank you. It says SOE 2013 was my first SOE Live, even though I played EverQuest since 1999. So looking forward to 2014. See you there. Absolutely, Denver Tim. 2013 was my second SOE Live. And let me go ahead and pour myself another glass of scotch. Uh, it was my second SOE Live. Have just been blown away at how awesome that convention is. Uh, we actually on Friday had our first like sort of huddle about SOE Live 2014 in any sort of detail, aside from getting venue and stuff like that. So now I'm going to be drinking Cow Ila. This is one of the smaller Islay scotches. So like Laphroaig and Lagavulin, very smoky and peaty, very like harsh, but pretty awesome. So Denver Tim, here's to you. But yeah, SOE Live, we're trying to make this one the best one ever. And I highly recommend, for folks who don't know, SOE Live is our fan event. It's very small. We usually only have about a couple thousand people come, and that's intentional. We do it, this year it's in Vegas. It's been in Vegas for a while. It'll be at Planet Hollywood. It's in August. And we keep it small intentionally because we really focus on player interaction. We want to spend time talking to people. And we love BlizzCon and Minecon and Comic-Con and all these big shows, but the problem that we have is, once you get 50,000 people coming to your show, you don't have time to talk to anyone. And I spent, I don't know, probably 20 hours, 30 hours at SOE Live just talking to people, and that is mind-blowing. And all the developers are doing that too, and we do panels and discussions and parties and social events, and just when we're not actually doing organized things, like we're just hanging out in the bar, like in Planet Hollywood right next to the venue, and just having drinks with players and chatting. And it's really cool. It's got a really good vibe. For folks who are in the chat who've been, I would love for you guys to share your stories as well. Because, I don't know, there's just a really, special feeling to it. And, it's just nice. So much fun. So I highly encourage you. I'm a little worried this year that it's going to sell out fairly quickly. So we're gonna announce the sales pretty soon, in the next few weeks, I think. So I would highly encourage you to go ahead and get your ticket as quickly as possible when they're out, and start planning if you want to come, because I just would hate for people to be turned away. My partner loves the Fae and wants to play them in EQN and Landmark. Can you help ease his mind? Well, one of the early roundtables was actually about this. We had asked the question, which is your favorite small race in the EverQuest universe? We were really expecting Ratonga to win by a mile, and they actually were the lowest on the poll. And Fae was really high, which took Rosie Rappaport, our art director, by surprise. And this is one of those things we're actually viewing them a little bit higher priority than we were before. So I'm not sure exactly what that means in the ordering of things, but definitely we see that there's some demand for Fae. So I wouldn't lose hope. Will we have full control with Storybricks AI when the time gets near? Comwiz? Yeah. Full control is a difficult phrase to promise exactly, but the goal is for you guys to have the same tools that we're using, so the same AI tools being one of them, right? So whatever we can do with AI, you should be able to do. And I'm really excited about that because, and I was talking about it a little earlier too, my favorite thing in EverQuest Next is the AI, and just the kinds of things you can do. The scenarios that you can imagine right now are just off the charts insane. So yeah, the goal is to give you complete control